The wizard groaned as he was dragged into the palace by the guards. His mind was clouded with pain and confusion as he struggled to make sense of his surroundings. He knew he had made a mistake by drinking the poison, but he had done it to protect something important. Despite his regret, the poison had ruined his magic, leaving him vulnerable and exposed. As he was brought before the emperor, he realized with a sinking feeling that he had been betrayed by his old friend and comrade, Golden Jackson Edward. The current emperor, Silver Jackson Edward, had risen to power by taking advantage of his father's achievements, and the high aristocrats had seen this as an opportunity to eliminate potential rebels and pesky governors. Henry Morris, the man who had been brought before the emperor, was charged with treason. Despite being the widest in the empire, he was accused of plotting against the imperial family. Although he should have been captured along with his family, the emperor decided to show his generosity by sparing them. Henry's heart was filled with anger and resentment as he was executed. Even in death, he swore he would never forgive his old friend and the emperor for what they had done to him. However, something strange happened after his death. Henry's body was brought back to life through necromancy, a kind of black magic that could bring back the dead through a blood price. Confused and disoriented, Henry tried to make sense of what had happened to him. He found himself in a strange place, surrounded by unfamiliar objects and a worn-out book on necromancy. As a former eighth-circle wizard of mankind, Henry was surprised to find that he had no magic and no circle drawn on his heart. He realized that the necromancy had damaged his body and magic, leaving him weakened and vulnerable. Despite his confusion and weakness, Henry saw an opportunity in his new life. He knew that he had been involved in some sort of scheme that had earned him money. With no other options, Henry decided to start by drawing the first circle and gathering information about his surroundings. He hoped that this new life would prove to be a blessing in disguise. As the first circle was complete, the wizard let out a sigh of relief. "Phew, this is good to know," he muttered to himself. He glanced at the clock and wondered how much time had passed. "I should leave it like this for now," he decided, feeling satisfied with his progress. His thoughts were interrupted by his companion's behavior. "He is like a damn kid," he thought to himself with annoyance. "Shit! If only he was a knight, he could have stood against them even with the poison." But he knew that magic was effective and superior to physical strength. In terms of power, it was strong enough to deal with dozens of swordmasters at once. However, that strength could be destroyed by some poison. A wizard's one and only weakness was having a fragile body. "If I had the body of a high-ranking swordmaster, I could have drunk many cups of poison and been okay," he mused. The wizard sighed as he reflected on his mortality. "After I die, I will finally acknowledge the knight's strength," he thought to himself. "Anyways, I think the purpose of this life has been decided." He paused as he observed his companion, noting that he seemed to be more than a commoner due to his attendant. The wizard yawned and rubbed his eyes, trying to shake off his fatigue. Ahem. He cleared his throat to get his companion's attention. "Cough, young master?" he asked, hoping for a response. The companion did not immediately react, causing the wizard to furrow his brow in annoyance. "Wow, look at this guy." His attitude towards his master, he muttered to himself. "You will have to say something about it," he scolded the attendant. "What do you think you are doing?" the wizard asked, his voice stern. "What? What?" The attendant stammered, caught off guard. "Why are you suddenly acting like this? By any chance, did you not get enough sleep?" The wizard's tone was accusatory, and he suspected that his companion's behavior was due to fatigue. "I think you didn't get enough sleep," the wizard continued. "Oh, why are you doing this?" the attendant exclaimed in frustration. The wizard could tell that his companion was agitated and not thinking clearly. "I see that you haven't gotten your act together yet," the wizard said in a firm tone. The attendant winced at the rebuke. "I am being ignored by an attendant," the wizard thought to himself with disbelief. "Wow, look at this bastard. This isn't the full young master that I know," the wizard thought to himself, observing his companion's behavior. "I have wronged you. Please forgive me just this once," the attendant begged, bowing his head. The wizard paused for a moment, then spoke with authority. "Raise your head. This is the last time I will show mercy. If you do anything like this again, I won't let you off so easily." "Yes, sir. I will keep that in mind," the attendant replied with relief. The wizard nodded in approval. "This should be enough," he thought to himself. "What's today's date?" he asked his companion. "The 6th. The attendant responded promptly. "Teesk, I am sorry," the wizard exclaimed in frustration. "Today is July 6 of the year 20. so only one day has passed. I was reincarnated a day after I died, he mused to himself. I see, then what is my name? He asked his companion. You are the young master, Henry Morris, the attendant replied. As the young master finished his training for the day, his attendant brought him some water to wash up with. The attendant noticed the young master was sweating a lot and offered to prepare more water for him to clean himself up, but the young master declined and insisted on getting ready by himself. The young master examined himself in the mirror and realized he had made progress, but it was still going to be difficult to achieve the fourth circle of magic. He sighed, knowing he might have to pause his training for now. As he changed into fresh clothes, he noticed they looked almost identical to his previous ones. Feeling hungry, the young master asked his attendant to show him where he could find food. They went to the dining area where the young master met the owner of the house, Baron Hans Morris, and his family, including his son Kevin and his stepbrother Henry. As they began to eat, Kevin mentioned the Swordsman Academy and suggested the young master attend to become a knight. The young master considered it, but knew it would take longer to achieve his revenge on the emperor this way. Henry then made a joke at Kevin's expense, leading to a heated argument that ended in a duel challenge. As the young master watched the two brothers spar, he couldn't help but feel ignored by his own family and attendant. But as the duel progressed, he realized that he too had a long way to go in his training. Hyungnim takes hold of the wooden sword, feeling its weight in his hand. It's almost as heavy as a real sword. He's satisfied with its quality and looks over at his opponent, young Master Kevin. He notices a change in the young man's eyes. Does he really think he can beat him? The rules state that the loser is the one who surrenders first, but since they are brothers, they don't have to go that far. With that, the duel begins. Hyungnim decides to go easy on Kevin, but he increases his muscle strength, agility, and quickens his reflexes. His defensive magic may not be as effective as it was in his past life, but it should be enough to punish a child like Kevin. As the battle rages on, Hyungnim notices Kevin blocking his attacks in a way that could break his bones. He decides to end the fight quickly but is interrupted by a voice calling out to him. It's Henry, who tells him to stop before he kills Kevin. With that, the fight comes to a halt, and Henry suggests they have a proper talk tomorrow about who will be admitted into the academy. The next day, rumors spread about what had happened during the duel. People are incredulous that Henry had beaten Kevin, given the difference in training time. But Hyungnim knows that he had been holding back during the fight. He realizes that the body he has now isn't that bad. Its sensitivity to magic is decent, and it's also quite built. If the owner of this body had been lazy, he wouldn't have been able to do anything. But at 20 years old, he knows he needs to start taking measures to improve his skills. He decides to try to reach the fourth circle and restore the magic power he lacks. However, he also knows that he needs a foundation and must find a way to increase his magic power. That's when he remembers the mystery elixir, Miracle. Hyungnim had created the elixir in the seventh circle after half a year of research. It was one of his greatest achievements, as it could increase the aptitude of a wizard. It unlocked the maximum capacity of magical power existing in a person's body, and if lucky, could multiply a person's magic power several times. However, it also had its shortcomings. The undiluted solution of Miracle Blue was a very strong drug and could only be used once in a person's life. One small mistake in adjusting the concentration could lead to instant death. Hyungnim decides to create the elixir again, but he needs the ingredients quickly. He sends Kohor to retrieve the herbs he needs and begins to write down the recipe for Miracle Blue. He knows that something unexpected could happen, and he wants to leave behind the recipe for others to use. But he also knows that the concentration of the elixir must be adjusted precisely to match the drinker's body. One mistake could lead to disaster. As Hyungnim works on the elixir, he realizes that his vision for it may have been discontinued since he died. But he doesn't let that discourage him. He's determined to create the elixir once again and use it to increase his own magic power. He knows that the road ahead will be difficult, but he's ready for the challenge. Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more manhwa, manga, and anime content.